from P2.8, so we say, just short P3. On the left, the knees don't really change flex enough. They stop changing flex incrementally. They start to slow down the rate at which they're extending, and that's why the arms lift.
Yeah, much lower here already.
On the right, we're deeper because the knees are changing flex a little bit more. So the knees changing flex from P1 to P3 allows the hips to turn. So that's a tremendous amount of inward component. Yeah, that's allowing the arms to come in more.
This is until here.
Yeah.
Until P3, it's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And over
3 to 4,
it's.
So what you're seeing here now on the right is the knees are continuously changing flex.
Yeah.
So the knees changing flex means that the right hip is working upwards, but also behind you. So the upwards is adding to the tilt, and it's adding to the upright look of the swing. So it's not letting the club get too flat. The inward is adding some depth to it. So that club goes up and back. From 3 to 4, it goes up and in, up and in, up and in, or up and behind you, whichever way you want to phrase it to yourself. So there's some depth. The other thing we discussed was your transition. So this is you at the start, steep, pretty much through the shoulder, just below the shoulder at best. Always trying
the shoulder,
to
you mean the club is
the trail shoulder. If you look where the club's hitting the body. So at P5, lead arms angled in about 10 degrees max. Shafts hitting you just below the trail shoulder. On this one now, different P4. Feel yesterday we talked about was pressure point 3 staying under. Now as you transition, you're already starting to open up with the body a little bit more. So you see your right shoulders coming down and around a little bit more. But now your arms angled inwards 20-25 degrees, and the shaft starting to lay down a little bit. Yeah,
it should be more.
A little bit more. Having said that, because you have quite a lot of wrist set, which is something we might look at today, you are always going to look slightly steeper. So as you hinge the wrist, you also extend the wrist and it goes a little bit steeper. If you suddenly, at that point in the swing, only deviated and bowled the wrist, it would look a lot flatter. So again, you've got to look at the positioning of the shaft. Does it match up with what the guy's doing with his wrists? There's a few things you've got to consider other than purely where the shaft is. We're deeper with the hands. We've got a wrist condition that suggests the shaft may set a little bit steeper than we want it to. But based on where we were at the start of the week, I'd take that all day long. I think at P4, you're golden now. I mean, the thing you've got to watch is, or the thing you can consider and embrace is the fact that because you've got your system in place, you look at your swing now and you think, okay, right, so from P1, we're back to this. This is you, obviously, at the start of today, warming up. P1 to P2, we're doing a good job, okay? P1 to P2, we're fine. These running obviously slow mode swings. There'll be a little bit more depth normally than that. P2 to P3, yesterday afternoon, we were relatively happy with that. We're getting the hands deeper. And so we're turning with extending with side bending. And then from P3 to P4 is when the extension and turn continue and the side bend starts to diminish a little bit. So what we can do now is just go to P3, stop, and then say, right, we're going to go now, hold it for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to go from 3 to 4. As you go from 3 to 4, you put your attention on trying to keep your side bend, and where's it coming from? And for you, it's the knees. The difference here is what happens with the knees. That 3 to 4, knees continue to change flex. Okay?